What looked amazing in the ads, but turned out to be useless after you bought it. A bike which folded about as compact as one of those cloth camping chairs. I went to the mall and bought one from the as seen on TV store, warning sign I chose to ignore. It had crappy silicone rubber wheels, like roller blades but bigger, and was direct drive. The cogs slipped on even the slightest of hills, making it less than useless in my city. Also, the seat was uncomfortable and made it feel like all your weight was on your tailbone. Fired that bugger on Craigslist and it was gone for almost what I paid within hours, to my surprise. I was honest about why I didn't want it, buyer didn't seem to care. I find when I tell people everything that is wrong with stuff I'm selling on CL that they want it more. It's weird. Like they think you are trying to scam them by telling them not to buy stuff. The inaudible to humans cat deterrent devices you're supposed to be able to hide in your garden. It was really loud and piercing and utterly ineffective. I eventually gave up and got a cat. Now only one cat poos in my flower beds, which is an improvement, and I know what he eats. I think for these it depends on how old you are, and therefore how good your hearing is. The neighbors at my mom's place have one, and it's such an annoying high-pitched sound to me, but my mom and the neighbors, 50 plus, apparently don't hear it at all. What an awful business model. Humans * can't hear it? * humans aged 48 and over with profound high-frequency hearing loss. Your neighbors in their 30s will probably throw bricks through your windows in response to our product, but they're not real people yet, so fuck 'em. Not to mention the ones that are supposed to deter moles, that everyone installs here. I have pretty bad high-frequency hearing loss. I can only hear up to 14 kHz at 27, which I think is about equivalent to what you should hear at 40-ish. I can still hear those fucking mole deterrents though. Drives me nuts if there's one going off every 5 seconds at night. When I was a kid I remember seeing a commercial about a remote control car that could drive on the walls. Of course I was fucking amazed. Turns out it was a 10 centimeters long car that had a vacuum system built in, made a lot of noise and was super slow. Yep. And half the time it would just fall off the wall. For me it didn't even stay on the wall for literally 1 second. Moon shoes. I was so excited as a kid to use these, but the first use caused a broken ankle. You could barely jump with them in the first place. Convinced my parents to buy a pair at a garage sale. We used them a fair bit, but mostly for exaggerate slow mo bounces. You know, 'cause it's the moon. And because we were all well aware that we were gambling with our lives. I think helmets were involved. Anything that is supposed to remove hair permanently. Or restore it permanently. Cries in testosterone. That rat bastard molecule. Yeah, how could it betray me like this? First it makes my wang bigger and gives me a sweet beard, like we're brothers. Then it turns around and takes away my hair. There were these things called bendaroos that I would often see on TV as a kid. They were these bendy things you could stick together and build stuff out of, and they looked so cool. My cousin bought a pack of them and invited me to play with her. The bendaroos turned out to be these pathetic waxy sticks that you could not really build with. They didn't bend easily, they didn't really stick together, but damn did they make your hands and everything else around sticky. I picked these up for my son years ago and I swear he got two out, tried to stick them together, twisted them, screwed them into something resembling a twine ball and walked away. The whole box sat in the end cupboard looking unopened for about 6 years, and every year I went to get the Christmas decorations out I'd see them and think, what the bloody hell are those? I'd remember, shrug and leave them be for another year LMAO. And here I thought your story was gonna end with you using them to make some cool DIY Christmas decorations. Showing my age here. One Christmas when I was a kid I was dying to get the electronic football game. Opened up my presents and there it was. Got it set up and plugged it in and the bastards just vibrated all over the place and fell over. That's first down. Set up all 22 players again for second down. Rattle hum hum splat. Same thing. You can see where this is going. Never played the damn thing again. My parents just moved and my brother found ours tucked away in the shop. It still worked and still went to Goodwill to disappoint some 21st century child. A plastic thingy from Kickstarter with a whole bunch of attachments that promised to dice onions and cut other vegetables in interesting ways. The blades and edge didn't quite align, so it never cut all the way through. The colors were cool though. I donated it to a second-hand shop and feel a bit guilty that someone is going to spend money on it and find that it's a bit crap. At least you got the thing. I backed Polygons the folding measuring spoons 3 years ago and they've yet to deliver them. One day, maybe I'll have my spoons. I once bought something on Kickstarter before I knew what the deal was, like they never actually have to send you it. It was this Bluetooth drawer lock that looked pretty cool. I followed the updates for a while and then they just stopped, then eventually, just forgot about it. Fast forward 2 years later, I get this plain brown box with just my name and no return address. Lo and behold, they sent me that lock. It worked great too for about 2 months, then it just stopped working and couldn't unlock and thus open the drawer. Eventually had to break it open. They followed through at least. Petty pause, that rotary nail file for dogs. It would have taken at least 20 minutes of filing per nail, and no dog is going to hold still that long. What a waste of money. Was it just a Dremel? We have always used those for our dogs. 15 minutes total. Must have been cheaply built, I'm assuming? Yet it's a really awful Dremel. I hate chopping vegetables, so I bought one of those automatic things they show on TV. A whole diced onion in 30 seconds. It mainly just smushed everything and got clogged up and took forever to clean. Turns out a knife and cutting board is easier. The slap chop? I used to see ads for those things all the dang time. Slap my nuts? You're going to love my nuts. I have a new treadmill and elliptical I can sell you. But where will you hang clothes? Right? My clothes hang on the right side of the treadmill, my wife's are on the left. An ultrasonic dishwasher device. You fill up the sink, add some liquid soap and turn on the USB-powered ultrasonic vibrator device that will peel off any dirt from your dishes. All you need to do is rinse after 5 minutes. Total flop. It turns out we don't have that tech yet. And it would waste too much water. Edit, I meant we don't have the tech for home dishwashers. Ultrasonic cleaners are well used in the industry, that's why I bought it thinking it would work the same. We do have the technology, it is just not practical for home uses. I worked at a place that used ultrasonic tanks to remove baked-on oil from helicopter transmission coolers. I use them to clean hidden blood off of surgical instruments. Very cool. There was this ham which had commercials specially addressed to kids. It was saying that if you take a bite you go on an adventure. It also showed the kid that ate it teleporting into a spaceship and going on a space adventure. Bought it and, it was just a regular ham. What a fucking letdown. I dunno, ham sounds really good RN. When I was like 6 or so there was a commercial for Transformers underwear that came out just before Christmas where the kids wearing them could transform. They were the only thing that I asked for Christmas that year. I forget what my parents/Santa got me, but I distinctly remember being disappointed that it wasn't Transformers underwear. Later that day my grandparents showed up, and when I opened the Transformers underwear they got me, it was by far the most excited I have ever or will ever be in my life. I went to the bathroom and put them on, then went back into the living room and proceeded to try to transform in front of my family while they laughed at me. I remember my grandfather joking, maybe you need to plug them in first. That is easily the most let down I have ever been by a commercial. I had the same thing with a Tinkerbell costume. It was advertised as real wings and the kids in the commercial would fly around with the costume on. That sounds dangerous. Some dumb kids might jump from somewhere high thinking they could fly. Yep. Got a Batman costume when I was pretty young, like 5 I guess. I got on the tailgate of my dad's truck and jumped to the carport support pole, the bat pole, which was just a steel pipe about an inch diameter. Smashed my nuts hard. This thing on Amazon for back pain. It's like a mat that you lay on covered in plastic spikes. It's uncomfortable at first but supposed to increase blood flow to the area. A lot of people swear by it, but it didn't do shit for me. I returned it. I have one of these. Bought a cheap one just because I wanted to know how bad it was. Laying on it feels like sunburn, getting up off it feels like peeling off sunburn, but then about 30 seconds after I sit up I get this intense relaxation feeling flow down my whole back. So good. That said, my partner can't stand it and thinks I may be a psychopath for being able to withstand it. Cutting off the circulation to an area of your body will result in a following relaxing flow when the circulation returns. Kinda like how taking a good shit makes you feel better. Slap chop. Tried slicing already sliced apples and it just broke. Fuck you, Vince. Fuck yes. I bought one and it fucking broke on the first slap. Now I've gotta chop things with a knife like a fucking chump. I have the KitchenAid version, and it's going strong years later. Edit, damn it, I said Yates instead of years. Grandpad. Bought one for my tech-illiterate mom-in-law for Christmas. Spent 3 days trying to set it up with tech support before admitting it was a piece of $200 crap. Ended up returning it and customizing an older Android tablet for her. Made it so she couldn't install or buy anything without a password, hid all the system controls so you can't find them without search, then hid search. Installed only the few apps she needed and hid and disabled the rest. Made it so I could remotely update and change things from my iPad. Installed a better keyboard for her eyes and we were good to go. Her favorite apps are Bingo and YouTube, where she watches nature videos all day. She has a radio installed and an app for local news. Smiley face, there's a whole market for that. Especially if you incorporate video calling. I've seen lots of tablets geared towards seniors but none of them seem to really nail the concept.